my sweet souls. Welcome to Rebel Faith. I'm Christy, but here I'm just Mama Kris. This is a space where truth breaks chains, where love reclaims power, where your soul finally gets to breathe. If you've been told to worship outside yourself or to fear the fire within, this podcast is your invitation to remember who you really are. So let's wake up together. Hey everyone, I am so excited. This is my very first episode where I basically talk about who I am and why I decided to start this podcast in the first place, called Rebel Faith. And it's not so much for me as it is for you, because we're in an awakening right now, whether you realize it or you don't. And it is really happening. And I'll share my story with you on how this all went down for me. And we'll be finding out more about you guys and how this awakening is affecting you. This is going to be a place where we are dissolving religions and spiritual truths and New Age into one so that it makes sense for everyone. Words and language can really get in the way of trying to express your heart. And we are living in a change where we're going from darkness and we're going into light. We're going from the old consciousness into the new consciousness. And it gets really, really deep down the rabbit hole. So we're going to start off very, very lightly. And if my experiences and the things that have happened to me and the way I see things don't resonate with you, it is completely okay. I'm not looking to argue. I'm not looking to start a fight with anyone. I am looking for peace and love. That's what I'm about. I'm your Mama Kris, and I want to walk you through, sometimes feeling like you're crazy, to a safe space where you can watch me, learn from me, express yourself to me, and I can help you glide right into this 4D density that we're moving into as Earth. So, where do I get started here? Let's see. I was born and raised in Albany, Georgia, and I am 52 years old. Isn't there a Saturday Night Live skit about that? What's her name? I'm 52 years old. 52. And I've seen a lot. I've done a lot. I've been to hell and back, and I've got the keys. And I haven't experienced probably as bad of things as some of you have, and that's true. And I'm not comparing myself to anybody, but I know what it's like to suffer. And I don't think that I could be sitting here before you right now expressing my heart the way I am if I didn't know what it was like to suffer. And one of the things that I want to teach you guys is how to turn those sufferings into blessings, how to turn your traumas, instead of looking at them with regret, honoring them and understanding that they turned you into the beautiful person that you are today. I'm going to show you how to go back to those times, and I'm going to thank them inside of you. So growing up in Georgia, we are talking very old consciousness here, guys. You got your butt whooped if you did not please your mama or your daddy. That is what happened. They would pull out a switch. They would pull out a belt. Sometimes you would have to go out to the tree and get your own switch so that they could beat you with it. I'm not kidding. I was born in 1972, Albany, Georgia. It's the South where they all talk like this. I got a lot of you friends out there watching right now that still talk like this. I moved away a long time ago, lost my accent. There you have it. But growing up that way was hardcore. And even in schools, a lot of you young kids would not even believe this. Like, only you older guys will understand what I'm talking about. When we got in trouble, we had to go to the principal's office and we had to put our hands on the desk, and they would pull out a paddle this long and this thick with a handle on it, right? You guys out there know what I'm talking about, right? And you would get licks. So depending on how bad it was what you did, you get 5 licks, 10 licks. And this was literally okay. No one would ever get away with doing anything like this now. But just giving you a little, this is what I was going through growing up. I moved around a lot. My parents moved a lot. I had to switch schools, elementary schools. I had to switch like 3 times. And it was really hard getting my grounding. I'm not saying any of this that I'm telling you in a sympathy way or to feel bad for me, because I wouldn't change a thing. I really honestly would not change a thing, because it made me strong. It made me who I am today. And I did the work. The very methods that I'm going to teach you is what I did with myself. And what happened to me is I liberated into a reality that is literally feasible. And it's literally something that can happen to you if you're willing to go inside and do the work. We're going to be talking about Jesus. We're going to be talking about religion. I grew up in the Bible Belt, and I was not raised by religious parents, but I knew from the time I was born, I just knew that I came not from this earth. I was 3 years old, and I was in the parking lot of a grocery store with my mom and dad, and I saw this little girl across the parking lot, and I waved to her, "Hi," and she just went, and I was like, "What was that?" You know, and so like things would happen like that, and I'm just like, what is this place that I'm in? Like, I was not familiar with any kind of ugliness or people treating each other that way. I actually had dreams as a little girl of spinning in this golden essence, and I had no body. I was just consciousness, but I was happy. I was not just happy, it's spinning in unconditional love. And it was like I was praising, and the praise was coming back into me. And it was like this in and out, this ebb and flow of unconditional, perfect love. And the spinning was like dancing. And I always compare it to like Tinkerbell. I know the Mandela effect's in fact, but there used to be a time with Walt Disney when it would show the castle, and you would see Tinkerbell come up out of the castle and twirl in the air and then do her little wand thing. And that's what it felt like. It felt like I was Tinkerbell, and I was just this happy, unconditionally loved essence. And I'm spinning in praise to it, and it's like praising me, and I'm praising it. And I tucked that away because as I got older and got into the Baptists and the Christianity, of course, that would never be possible. That could never be possible because, you're only alive when you're born. You didn't exist before you were born, which, of course, that's why I'm making this podcast, because that is definitely not true. You are a being having a human experience. Yes, you are, my dear. And we're going to blow the lid off of a lot of things together. But getting back to, that spinning and that how did I get here and how do I get back home feeling? This definitely was in me at a very, very, very young age. And for those of you who can take it, I actually did see a ship in the sky. I was alone. I'd gotten away from my sister and her friends. It was dark at night. And catty corner in the sky. I didn't know what it was. I'm 3 years old. I thought it was some type of man-made commercial object that little did I know it didn't exist, but it was hovering like a helicopter. It was still, and there were lights going around it. So there was like light. It looked like lights going around the object inside of it, like lights within lights. Or like I found in Ezekiel, he described it as a wheel within a wheel. And that's what it looked like to me at 3 years old. And it was like it was watching me almost. And I'm staring at it. And then it was just, shoom, it was gone. So there's things that I've tucked away because you didn't talk about those things because people think you're crazy. And you probably still think I'm crazy. And I really don't care. So that happened. And then, like, when I'm 9, my mom told me this awful, awful story about this couple that did something really awful to their daughter because they were in a cult, and they killed her in a really awful way. And man, I was 9 years old, and and my mom left the room, and I was the only one there, and I just started screaming and shouting at the devil, going, I hate you. I hate you. I hate this place. I want to go home. I want to go home. Get me out of here, God. Get me out of here. I don't want to be here. And, life went on, tucked that away. And then I was really searching for God. I really, really wanted to know why I was here, what my purpose was. What is all of this about? I definitely did know that I did not come from some tadpole and evolved into a monkey and into a human. I didn't buy any of that. I know some of you still do, but, this is my story. And I didn't buy into that. Nope. So I went on through school, and I really hated being in Albany, Georgia. I love Albany, Georgia now. I love it now. But back then, it was very racist, and it was very judgmental. And if you weren't, the country club, elite, you kind of weren't cool. So I went through just having to go through school, wanting to be, liked, not caring so much about being popular, but just hating the whole system. I could already see the system then. And I had my share of bullying. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I switched schools a lot. For some reason, a girl didn't like me, and the frickin' turn all these other girls against me. And next thing I know, I'm having to kick someone's butt because they're disrespecting, that's how it was back then. People fought a lot back then. Well, at least I did anyway. I was fighting with my mother. I was fighting with my sisters. I was fighting with my, with friends. It was rough. My dad lost everything when I was, just going through puberty, trying to get grounded. My mom and I had a horrible relationship. We fought a lot, and my dad lost everything. And then I had to switch schools. I had to go to a school where I didn't know anyone, and then I had to switch schools again, all in my 9th grade year, to a school where I immediately started getting bullied. And I'm not lying. I wanted to flat out die. So for those of you out there that feel like, oh my God, no one understands me. These crazy things have happened to me. I've seen things, or I've heard things. Mama Kris is getting emotional right now because I feel you. I've been there. And I still look at this stuff with just thank you, because it's not on the mountaintops that you grow, my dears. It's in the valleys. It's through the pain and the suffering that you become liberated and alive and free, like I am today. I exist in a new, you could call it density of thinking and of being. I would like to say that my thinking and being is more alongside of Jesus. Loving everyone, seeing everyone as a whole, and seeing this earth experience as you can call it a school, you can call it a prison, you can call it whatever you want, but here we are, and we're experiencing it. And you can take all of that and let it ruin your life and ruin your reality that you're creating, or you could take it and you can alchemize it, and you can turn it into blessings. So yeah, I did get bullied, and I did have to fight, and I did have friends. I had great friends, and they're still my friends to this day. And we had some killer parties that we went to, and bands playing, and I had my crushes, and I have really great memories, amazing memories of Albany, Georgia, and all of my friends from there. And so I couldn't wait to get out, though. I could not wait to graduate, get my diploma, pack my car, and get the hell out of there. I was literally just counting the days till I graduated. And then when I did, I moved to Orlando, Florida, because I wanted to model. That was my dream. I wanted to model and I wanted to act. I wanted to perform. I'm a huge ham. I love just talking to people. I'm very extroverted. I love people. And I just wanted to be in that scene, you know? So I got my diploma and I did move to Orlando and I did started modeling throughout Florida, doing print work because I wasn't tall enough to do runway because I'm only 5'6". Oh, well. But I did make, money doing some like calendars and postcards and brochures for like swimwear. And it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. But there were those times when I couldn't get work. And I love to travel and I love to party. I'm 18 years old and I started dancing. Yeah, so I was a stripper. And I found that I was, making a lot of money doing that and partying and dancing, and ended up meeting a guy that was a rock star. And so I'm 18 and I'm this little like Georgia girl that knows nothing about nothing except for what I see on MTV and, in cosmopolitan magazines, which helped me develop an eating disorder, by the way. We'll talk about that some other time. So I literally, am 1 minute this country bumpkin Georgia girl, and the next minute I'm living MTV. I'm traveling with these well-known rock bands with my boyfriend, getting flown to Las Vegas, where, Warrant and Trickster and Firehouse and just some of the biggest band names at that time. I met a lot of people, a lot of, the rock stars that I'd only seen on MTV up till that point. And the next thing I know, I'm talking to Warren DeMartini from Rat, and I'm just like, wow, this is surreal. This is like really, really cool. But so I'm modeling and I'm living that life. But I was really like struggling going back and forth from knowing Jesus to, living the life of a stripper and a model and living basically the rock and roll lifestyle. That's what it was. It was, back then it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I didn't do drugs. I did not do drugs. I'd smoke pot, but I didn't inhale. Haha, I'm just kidding. I inhaled. But I was in it, man. I was in it. 18 years old. First time I ever flew was for Contraband in Las Vegas, 1990, 91. That's what year it was. So I was in this struggle back and forth with God, what they call backsliding. And I was a horrible Christian. I was a horrible backslider. I mean, my heart was so there. The love was there. I wasn't out hurting anybody. I wasn't out, I wasn't, I was never mean, or trying to hurt anybody. I didn't have that in my heart. But as far as walking the rules of Christianity, I sucked. I sucked really bad at that. And it turns out, and what I want to help a lot of you guys out there realize is that, we were deceived and we were lied to about how it really works. The whole sin, you're a dirty, rotten, filthy, stinking sinner, and you must go to the church and pay and pray in order to be forgiven so that you can go to heaven. I only wish with all of my heart that someone would have come to me like I am, Mama Kris, coming to you right now and telling me the things that I'm telling you right now and showing you the things that I'm going to share with you on this podcast. And I'm just going to stop right there because let's just stop and just look inside. Like Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is inside of you. And just let's look inside of ourselves and let's take this up next time on our next episode. I'll finish out my story and I'll tell you how I learned that I wasn't a dirty, rotten, filthy, stinking sinner, that actually I am something way, way more beautiful than that. It's time for you to know too, and I'm gonna help you get there. I'm Mama Kris, and welcome to Rebel Faith. If this stirred something inside of you, it's because your soul remembers. You were never meant to live in fear. You were meant to create, to embody, to radiate. Thank you for walking with me today. This is Rebel Faith. I'm Mama Kris, and I'll be right here reminding you, you've always been the miracle.